Morning sunlight filtered through the dense canopy, touching the faces of disciples gathered beneath the sacred Bodhi tree. Silence reigned as each heart anticipated wisdom. The merchant, dressed in fine silk, broke the silence, his voice trembling with vulnerability. "Master, I possess wealth, yet contentment evades me. My desires grow as my treasures increase, but my peace diminishes." Buddha's gaze met the merchant's eyes, serene yet penetrating, as if understanding the depths of the merchant's struggles. Desires feed on their fulfillment like fire devours wood, never quenched, always hungering for more. The merchant, uncertain, knelt closer, seeking clarity. "But Master, aren't aspirations natural? Must we not strive toward progress and success?" Buddha's smile held compassion. Success pursued with blindness to the present becomes a shadow, forever eluding its chaser. His hand gestured to the Bodhi tree. "This tree grows not through yearning but by embracing the rain, sunlight, and soil as they come." A farmer nodded, resonating with the metaphor rooted in nature's rhythm. Buddha turned toward the farmer. "You, with the earth as your teacher, do you fret over the harvest before sowing the seeds?" The farmer answered slowly, "No, Master. Sowing seeds is my focus. The harvest follows as nature wills." Buddha's voice softened as he addressed the entire gathering. "So is the nature of contentment. It flows when the heart ceases chasing and begins appreciating." The merchant furrowed his brow, grappling with the depth of Buddha's teaching. "I understand your wisdom in theory, Master, yet my heart still longs for more. How can I silence this desire?" Buddha stepped forward, brushing his hand across the petals of a nearby lotus flower. A lotus thrives not by wishing for taller stems but by absorbing the nourishment surrounding its roots. The merchant gazed at the flower, his thoughts visible through his furrowed expression. "Master, how do I absorb this nourishment you speak of?" Buddha knelt beside the merchant, his presence grounding and serene. "Practice gratitude, friend. Find joy in simplicity. Appreciate the breath sustaining you, and share kindness as life's truest treasure." Disciples murmured amongst themselves, exchanging their own experiences of yearning and fulfillment. A poet spoke next, his words carrying melody. "Master, can gratitude truly erase the ache for greater meaning and wonder in our lives?" Buddha smiled at the poet, his answer as gentle as a caressing breeze. Greater meaning is revealed when gratitude transforms mundane moments into mirrors reflecting life's abundance. The merchant leaned forward, intrigued. "Master, this gratitude you speak of, can it coexist with ambition?" Buddha nodded, his eyes bright with understanding. "Ambition guided by gratitude creates not hunger, but purpose. It becomes a tool for service, not self-centered grasping." A scholar joined the conversation. "Master, we are flawed beings, vulnerable to ego. How do we keep ambition pure amidst such imperfection?" Buddha's tone deepened, his teachings enveloped in calm assurance. "Through mindfulness, scholar, let your intention remain rooted in connection, in giving, not taking." The group fell silent, each person contemplating Buddha's wisdom. The merchant spoke again, his voice more steady. "Master, I fear my greed has estranged me from loved ones. Can contentment heal such wounds?" Buddha touched the merchant's shoulder, his presence as restorative as the teachings he offered. "True contentment unites hearts. Greed isolates, but gratitude reconnects. Bridging gaps desire creates." The merchant bowed his head, absorbing the words like dry soil soaking rain. A young seeker stepped forward timidly, her question carrying vulnerability. "Master, is contentment a state reached once, or a journey traveled every day?" Buddha faced her, his gaze steady yet kind. "Contentment flows like a river, constantly moving, shaping, adjusting to life's changing currents." The seeker's eyes widened, her understanding deepening through Buddha's metaphor. But Master, what if the currents threaten to sweep us away? Can contentment withstand life's storms? Buddha turned toward the rising sun. As the earth withstands storms by grounding itself, contentment grounds the spirit through acceptance and inner clarity. The seeker's shoulders relaxed, comforted by Buddha's assurance. The poet spoke again, seeking deeper insight. Master, can creativity bloom alongside contentment? Or do peaceful hearts dull imagination's flame? Buddha gestured toward the Bodhi tree's spreading canopy. Creativity flourishes when nourished by peace, growing like branches reaching skyward with harmony as its soil. Disciples exchanged murmurs, their hearts resonating with truth, their minds entangling misconceptions. A farmer spoke again, his words reflecting the texture of his life. Master, can contentment protect us from envy? Buddha leaned forward, addressing the farmer directly. Contentment flourishes when gratitude roots deeply. Envy wilts as appreciation blooms, the farmer nodded, his understanding expressed through earnest eyes. Buddha turned toward the scholar. Scholar, what do you believe separates the mind consumed by desire from the mind free in peace? The scholar answered, Master, perhaps discipline separates them. Buddha gestured toward the soil beneath their feet. Discipline nourishes peace, much like fertile soil sustains life. The scholar's expression brightened, finding clarity in Buddha's analogy. The poet added his thoughts. Master, can peace become monotonous without passion or excitement energizing it? Buddha's laughter filled the space like a refreshing breeze. Peace complements passion, just as still lakes reflect vibrant sunsets. Disciples smiled, their hearts uplifted by Buddha's wisdom woven seamlessly into everyday truths. The merchant posed another question, revealing his transformative journey. Master, how do we avoid mistaking fleeting happiness for true contentment? Buddha offered a question in return. Tell me, merchant, does the sun's beauty diminish when clouds temporarily obscure it? The merchant answered, No, Master, the sun's beauty remains, even hidden. Buddha's gaze softened further. True contentment resembles sunlight, unchanged by temporary clouds of external circumstances. The poet clasped his hands together, his words resonant yet tender. Master, can art reveal contentment's essence, reflecting truths hidden beneath worldly illusions? Buddha nodded, his smile reflecting serenity's depth. Art mirrors life, and when guided by truth, reveals peace that desires conceal. The merchant leaned closer, his vulnerability transforming into growth. Master, how do we teach future generations to embrace contentment amidst distraction? Buddha answered with unwavering clarity. Teach them through example, for wisdom shared without practice loses its meaning. The merchant bowed deeply, gratitude visible through his humble gesture. The Bodhi tree's leaves whispered above them, resonating with Buddha's teachings shared through one golden morning's transformative silence. Another day, another gathering beneath the sheltering branches of the Bodhi tree, where disciples sought solace and wisdom from the Buddha. The morning was calm, the air filled with the soft hum of life awakening in the quiet village. A farmer approached the Buddha, his hands roughened by years of labor, his voice laced with unease. Master, I am plagued by regret for my past mistakes and fear of what the future may hold. Buddha regarded him kindly, his eyes reflecting the stillness of the deep waters. Farmer, does the plow carve the field of yesterday or the soil of tomorrow? The farmer hesitated, then answered, No, Master, the plow touches only the ground it meets in the present moment. Buddha nodded, his voice as steady as a flowing river. So too must the mind rest on the present, for only here can life truly unfold. The disciples listened intently, their silence heavy with contemplation. A young woman stepped forward, her eyes filled with a mixture of hope and doubt. Master, she began, her voice trembling. How can we escape the shadows of the past that haunt our thoughts relentlessly? Buddha extended his hand toward a stream that flowed nearby, its waters glistening in the morning sun. This stream does not carry the water of yesterday, nor does it hold the rains of tomorrow. He turned back to her, his tone warm yet resolute. When you cling to the past, you become like a stagnant pool, unable to flow freely. The young woman lowered her gaze, her heart struggling to release its burden. But Master, the past has shaped who I am. How do I let it go? Buddha's expression remained serene, his words imbued with unwavering compassion. Accept the lessons of the past, as the earth accepts fallen leaves, enriching its soil but not burdening its growth. The poet among them spoke next, his voice carrying an air of curiosity. Master, the present is fleeting, slipping through our grasp like grains of sand. How do we embrace it fully? Buddha reached down, picking up a handful of sand and allowing it to fall slowly through his fingers. To grasp the present is not to hold it tightly, but to experience it as it is. Moment by moment, the poet watched the sand fall, understanding dawning in his eyes. So the present is to be lived, not owned. Is that what you mean, Master? Buddha's smile was like a gentle sunrise. Yes, poet. To live fully in the present is to honor life's impermanence without clinging to its fleeting nature. A merchant approached, his face lined with worry. Master, my thoughts are consumed with plans and ambitions. Suman listened intently, his heart aching for clarity, his soul yearning to understand the wisdom hidden within the Buddha's metaphor. The Buddha closed his eyes briefly, his presence serene and unwavering. They glide, Master, responding to the winds as they come. Buddha inclined his head slightly. So too must the mind respond to the present moment, rather than being weighed down by future uncertainties. The farmer, still grappling with his earlier question, spoke again. Master, what if the present brings pain? How do we find contentment in suffering? Buddha's gaze grew tender, his tone soothing yet firm. Pain is like a storm. It passes. Contentment comes from accepting the storm without resisting its presence. The disciples exchanged glances, their expressions a mixture of agreement and curiosity. A scholar raised his hand, his thoughts well-formed and precise. Master, he said, his voice steady, does living in the present mean abandoning dreams and aspirations for the future? Buddha turned his eyes toward a tree bearing fruit nearby. Does this tree abandon growth by standing firmly rooted in the present? Or does it grow stronger for its grounding? The scholar nodded slowly, his lips forming a faint smile. I understand, Master. Dreams rooted in the present grow without pulling us away from our current reality. The disciples grew more animated, their questions flowing like the stream they had observed earlier. A young seeker, her face radiant with newfound understanding, stepped forward. Master, how can we teach others to embrace the present when they are consumed by regret and worry? Buddha's smile deepened, his wisdom expressed with serene clarity. Teach not with words alone, but by embodying presence. Let your actions reflect the peace of living in the now. The seeker bowed her head, her resolve evident in her expression. A farmer, quieter than the others, raised his hand timidly. Master, is it possible to find joy in the present when it feels so ordinary and mundane? Buddha gestured to a simple flower blooming at his feet, its petals vibrant against the earth. Joy resides in seeing the extraordinary within the ordinary. As this flower holds beauty despite its commonness. The farmer's eyes lit up, his perspective shifting. So contentment comes from appreciating what is, rather than longing for what could be. Buddha nodded, his approval as gentle as the rustling leaves above them. Yes, farmer. Contentment blooms in the soil of acceptance, not in the clouds of longing. The disciples began to disperse, their hearts lighter, their minds clearer. Buddha remained seated, his presence radiating calm. As the day wore on, the teachings of living in the present took root in their minds. Like seeds planted in fertile soil, each disciple carried with them the wisdom of the Bodhi tree, ready to embrace the present as the foundation for true contentment. Another day, another gathering beneath the Bodhi tree, where Buddha sat amidst his disciples, his presence exuding calm and wisdom. The evening breeze carried with it the whispers of the forest, harmonizing with the quiet murmurs of those assembled. A young seeker stepped forward, her voice trembling with sorrow. "Master, I feel isolated, disconnected from others. Loneliness weighs heavily on my heart." Buddha's gaze rested gently on her, his eyes reflecting both compassion and understanding. "Seeker, do you see the stars above, scattered across the vast expanse of the night sky?" She looked upward, her eyes tracing the glowing constellations twinkling in the heavens. "Yes, Master, I see them, beautiful yet distant." Buddha pointed to the stars. "Though distant, are these stars solitary, or do they belong to a greater, interconnected cosmos?" The seeker hesitated before answering softly. "They are part of something larger, a vast and intricate universe." Buddha's voice was soothing, like a stream meandering through quiet woods. "So, too, are you connected to the lives around you, woven into the tapestry of existence?" The seeker's expression softened, though uncertainty lingered in her voice. "But Master, why then do I feel so alone, as if my thread is frayed and distant from others?" Buddha extended his hand toward a bird perched on a low branch. "Does this bird, though perched alone, cease to belong to the earth, sky, and wind?" The seeker watched the bird take flight, her heart lifting slightly. "No, Master, the bird remains a part of the world, connected even as it soars." Buddha smiled, his wisdom radiating like the full moon. "Loneliness often arises not from true isolation, but from forgetting our intrinsic connection to all life." The poet spoke next, his voice carrying a lyrical cadence. "Master, does this connection mean we share both joy and suffering, carrying the burdens of others alongside our own?" Buddha nodded, his gaze warm and unwavering. "Indeed, poet, to recognize our shared joys and pains is to awaken compassion, the bridge that dissolves loneliness." The poet closed his eyes briefly, as if internalizing the profound truth. The farmer, his hands resting heavily on his knees, raised a question of his own. "Master, how can we feel connected when others' actions hurt or betray us?" Buddha picked up a fallen leaf, its edges browned with age. "Farmer, does this leaf resent the tree for releasing it, or does it accept its place in nature's cycle?" The farmer considered Buddha's words carefully before speaking. "It accepts its place, Master, understanding that its purpose continues beyond its separation." Buddha's voice resonated with gentle authority. "So must we accept the imperfections of relationships, learning from them without severing our ties to humanity." The disciples murmured among themselves, reflecting on the wisdom of letting go without losing connection. A scholar, his brow furrowed in thought, addressed the Buddha. "Master, if we are all connected, why do some suffer greatly while others live in abundance?" Buddha gestured to the roots of the Bodhi tree, exposed and entwined within the soil. "Do these roots grow uniformly, or do some stretch deeper while others remain near the surface?" The scholar answered slowly, "Some grow deeper, seeking water, while others stay shallow, but all serve the tree's life." Buddha's smile held both gravity and grace. "Life's inequities are like the roots. Though varied, each serves a purpose in sustaining the whole." The scholar bowed his head, humbled by the profound simplicity of the explanation. A young disciple approached hesitantly, her voice barely audible. "Master, can strengthening our connection to others truly bring contentment to a restless heart?" Buddha knelt beside her, picking up a handful of soil. This soil, though composed of countless particles, creates life when united. Connection transforms restlessness into purpose and growth. The disciple's shoulders relaxed, her mind absorbing the grounding truth. The merchant spoke, his voice steady with growing understanding. Master, how do we nurture these connections without losing ourselves in the process? Buddha gestured toward a lotus flower blooming gracefully in a nearby pond. Does this lotus lose its essence while drawing nourishment from the water and sunlight surrounding it? The merchant shook his head slowly. No, Master. The lotus remains itself while flourishing through its connections. Buddha's eyes twinkled as he replied, so too must we thrive in relationships, nourished but not defined by them. A serene silence enveloped the group, each person reflecting deeply on their connections to the world and to each other. The poet spoke again, his words contemplative. Master, can art reveal and celebrate this interconnectedness, bridging the distance between human hearts? Buddha gestured to the forest surrounding them, its foliage whispering in the wind. Art, like the forest's song, reflects the unity of all things, awakening recognition of life's shared essence. The poet's face lit with inspiration, his heart filled with renewed purpose. The seeker, now calmer, asked one final question. Master, is there ever a time when disconnection is necessary for our well-being? Buddha's gaze turned toward the horizon, where the sky met the distant mountains. Disconnection, like the setting sun, offers rest, but it must always give way to reconnection. Like dawn's return, the seeker bowed deeply, gratitude emanating from her being as she absorbed the cyclical wisdom. The disciples lingered as the stars began to fade with the approach of dawn, their hearts united by the teachings of the Buddha. Each carried with them the understanding that connection is not merely a path to contentment but the essence of existence itself. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.